No one's saying be there. No one's saying stop that.
I'm excited all of a sudden for no reason because I placed y'all on the bookshelf and now y'all are getting the opposite view of what you normally get. Plot twist. Keeping things interesting. I keep y'all on your toes. Anyways, that's unimportant. I took the cover off of this book so I can take it out in the wild with me, and I already ruined it just a little bit, but we're gonna ignore that. How flippin' gorgeous is this mother flower of a book? It's so beautiful. Like, you're home to me. And then it says written by Emily Henry. That really makes me think, because I also have a special edition of Beach Read. Oh, it's even prettier. It's yellow. My favorite color. It says, I feel overwhelmed that you exist. Also written by Emily Henry. Can they have all of her books in these editions, please and thank you? I would appreciate that. Who do I have to contact? At Berkeley. Thank you very much. My only complaint is that they're really heavy. And I think I'm developing arthritis, so that's not good for me. Anyways, all of that aside, I've begun the book. I am about 54 pages in. This is a pretty easy read. Oh, the pages, they feel so like silky. You can tell I'm a book lover because I'm just obsessed with these details. Anyways, I just love these characters already. I love everything about them. I love how they are like complete opposites to each other. Even like, I think Emily Henry does such a good such a good job of, yes, she's telling us that they think that they're opposites of each other, but then she does things like they're driving in the car and he has the window up and she has it down, and so like he is a much more rigid character and she's much more eccentric and the window's down, so therefore her hair is flying everywhere and it represents her character and the way that her personality is. It's just those little details, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's pretty much all I've been thinking. That I love me a quirky female character. I think that's why I love Christina Lauren so much as an author, because they always do the quirky, silly, goofy, weird main characters, and I think Emily Henry does that pretty well too. I will say that the best friend is an influencer, and I feel like immediately upon an influencer entering the chat in a book, I want to check out. So I had to kind of try really hard to not do that here. But Poppy and Alex make it so easy because I love them so much. I love his like nerdy, rigid like self so much so far. And I'm kind of proud of myself because I did read this before, but I don't remember anything. So why am I proud of that? I don't know. Maybe that was not the right word, but I'm happy because I'm able to kind of enjoy the adventure all over again, and it's a fresh surprise, and I'm feeling excited and invigorated to keep reading. So that's where we are. I had this cheeky little idea of maybe figuring out some ways to turn my house into a little bit of a summery vibe, because it is winter here right now. It's like the dead of winter, and I don't know, this feels like a beach read, so we're gonna summerify my house right now, make it feel like summer in the winter, and then get as far into this bad boy as possible. Let's do it. So we're going with Waikiki Beach Coconut. be sunny, so we're gonna turn on all the lights. I don't like the winter view, but let's close the windows then, right? And then we need more light. Woo! All right. Okay, it's bright in here and it's kind of hot too. Let's get rid of the winter blanket. Y'all, what a great beach vacation. I'm having such a good time with Poppy and Alex right now. I feel like I'm not gonna have a lot to say throughout the reading of this book, just because it's I think a pretty straightforward. So we have two different timelines. One timeline where we are in the past and we're kind of getting the history of their relationship from the day that they met through some type of big argument or situation that we don't quite know what actually happened. And then the second timeline that we're getting is 2 years after the argument, where they're kind of seeing each other for the first time and presumably rekindling their friendship and falling in love. So this is kind of like a second chance, but not really, more like friends to lovers. We also just got our first one bed trope, but nothing came of it. So that's a little, anyways. Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward, where I'm not going to have a lot of major like thoughts throughout, and I'll probably just do one bigger review at the end of this video if I have strong feelings. I will check in, but mostly we're just kind of getting them being acquainted with each other. And I'm really frustrated right now because they are just being friends and they have so many situations where they're just set up for romance, and I don't understand how they are resisting. And I will say that they're encountering some situations where one or the other is flirting or in a romantic situation with somebody else, and they don't show any like signs of jealousy per se so far. Like, they've been pretty good about that. But it's frustrating me, and I'm getting secondhand jealous on their behalf. I wanna yell at this dude. She's not yours. But we'll see what happens. I hate this for them. And we're gonna keep reading at the beach, and we'll check in. I just had like a good cry. Finally finished People We Read on Vacation. Okay, let me put the cover on. Okay, finally finished People We Meet on Vacation. Actually ended up getting it on my Kindle too because this book is really heavy. And like I've been getting like cramping in my hands. I think it's arthritis, but anyways. So wow. First and foremost, I was so caught up in this book that I did not realize that we're in the middle of a snowstorm right now. My mind was just gone. So overall, I really, really loved this book. I think especially the ending, like it made me cry, it made me emotional. First cry of the year. But yeah, wow. I think that this is the reason why I love Emily Henry and her writing so much, because it isn't just like a cute little romance. It is that, but it's also deeply like emotional and thought-provoking. Throughout the course of the book, I will admit that I was getting like pretty frustrated when I got to like the 50% mark. And part of this is because I kept seeing ads on Instagram for the movie and I was like getting desperate to watch it. And I'm like, I'm still only 50% through this book. Like, how? And I think that was getting me a little bit like anxious to just get through the book because I really wanted to watch the movie. But aside from that, I do think that there was just a lot of very early on yearning and just like knowing how you actually feel about this person. And so having to get through like a good 70% of this book with them, I mean, we don't get Alex's perspective, but you can tell. But you get Poppy's perspective, and she knows pretty early on how she feels about him and is still pretending to be his friend. Is very frustrating. And it's frustrating that we go through such a large portion of the book without there being any like romantic elements to their relationship. I think too that we are going through the story, we're getting this like idea that this big situation happened in this trip to Croatia and we don't know what it is, and you're just getting like honestly not even breadcrumbs, like nothing. You're getting nothing throughout the entirety of the story. Just waiting, because so essentially goes back and forth between the present time and 8 summers ago, present time 7 summers ago, present time 6 summers ago, present time 5 summers ago, and you're like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna get there? Ah! Anarchy! Burn it down! No, sorry, that was dramatic, but you're just waiting in anticipation for precipitation. Rainy day. 3 minutes back with Little Miss Sunshine. Rihanna, where you at? Got carried away there. I apologize. Anyways, I think it was worth it though. I think that the third act breakup made me want to fling myself out of a window, as per usual. I don't understand why we need those, but okay. I will say that the whole like grand gesture ending situation of this does make it worth it, because it's just so beautiful, like the words that they share with each other. Some of it I'm like, that was a little pointless, but we'll move on from that. And overall, I think like the whole like Emily Henry's like writing You're Home to Me, she has like a kind of, I don't want to say like a tagline, but just like something that the characters say to each other. In this one, it makes sense and it's so beautiful because the whole premise and idea of the book is going around on vacation, being away from home, and so finding out what they mean to each other, and it tying into the whole idea of this book. The way that the title, it's so interesting because it is relative to Poppy, not necessarily their relationship, but it ties really well into the entire idea of this book. And I just think that for a romance novel, this is so much more than just like a fluffy, cute, like fun time. It is just so deeply thought-provoking and beautiful. And I want to give it 5 stars, but the fact that I was just like a little bit irritated in the middle, I feel like I can't. So I'm gonna go with like 4.75. Very close to a 5 star. I love these characters. I love Poppy. I love Alex. I think Alex is probably besides Lucas Blomkvist, he's probably one of my favorite book boyfriends. And I don't say that a lot because I don't really get attached to book boyfriends, but he's up there. I love Alex Nielsen so much. And that's it for this journey. So I'm gonna go watch the movie because I literally cannot wait a second longer. I'll catch y'all when we have thoughts on it. I'm gonna crash out. I made the room dark, I made tea, I set the tone. I was ready for this movie and I can't find the remote. I waited weeks for this. All is well. Remote has been located. Let's do this thing. Woohoo! That movie was so good. I'm gonna have that song stuck in my head forever. I hope you remember. I'm forever your girl. Wow. Honestly, it's been a long time since I felt that a movie did a book justice, but that book and that movie, they really rival each other. I love that there's like certain little things that they throw into the movie that are not necessarily big parts of the movie, that were kind of big parts of the book, that you can kind of like pick up on, like little Easter eggs from the book, like Tiny Fighter, and the fact that Emily Henry makes a little cameo, you know what I mean? It's just, everything about it was so cute and adorable. I also shed a tear watching the movie, which is wild, guys. Like, what is going on here? I don't usually cry on books or movies, but the story just got me. Anyways, that's all we got for y'all today. I think next, I'm enjoying this like reading books based on movies vibe. So I don't know if next, I think I want to try Wuthering Heights. That's out of my comfort zone because it's a classic. It's either that or we do Project Hail Mary in March, but either way, stick around. If you made it this far, leave me a beach emoji in the comments. If you enjoyed this, make sure you hit that like button. If you want to join the family, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all when I see you next. Bye. I hope you remember that I'm forever your girl.